Good day to you, child of God. This is the Remnant Seed Bible Study Channel. Welcome. I've been hearing a lot about the 144,000 lately, and I just wanted to clear this up. It's really a simple explanation for this. And beloved, it just amazes me how people can read a simple novel or the newspaper or anything. They can follow subject and object and, all the different points that you want to take into account when you're reading something. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. If you just look at the text itself, it gives you the answer. It gives you your answer, but you got to follow the text and look at it. And don't let somebody tell you what it says, beloved. So this is really going to be short and sweet. And I also have one on some information about the two witnesses too. So let's jump right into this. And you get this from Revelation 7:1. And after these things, I saw four winds standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, or any tree. So, beloved, this is full of symbolism and acrostics. And once you learn the basic symbolism in the New Testament and the Old Testament, for that matter, and acrostics, you're able to unlock many of the scriptures and what they actually truly mean. And I'll give a little lesson here in acrostics. So, number 4 is the number of earth. And you can see many examples of this. You have the four winds, you have the elements, you have the four directions. Number 4 represents earth. And essentially, the four angels in this verse here are holding back the hands of time. And the four winds represent the end of time. And you see this expression, four winds, throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament. And it refers to four winds focusing on one area. And it means that they're focusing on the very end. And this is a metaphor just basically saying we're talking about the very end of time. We're focused on the time right before the Lord's Day, right before the seventh trump. And this is definitely set at the time of the end. And the four corners represent east, west, south, and north. And I'm sure all of you can figure that out. But just keep that in mind. Number 4 is the number of earth. Anytime you see that number, you know you're talking about earth or the things in the earth or anything to do with the earth. Okay, in verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, until we've sealed the servants of God in their foreheads. Now this angel is coming from the east and instructing the other angels, hold on, wait a minute, stop it. We got to seal all these up before the end can come, before God can pour his wrath out, and before the end can come, before the seventh trump. But none of this can happen until we seal all these people up, and then you'll get the okay from God as to when to start the calamity. And the angel ascending from the east is giving command to hold back the calamity until the servants have sealed their mind with the truth. And the numbers given below, which I believe are symbolic, and these aren't the actual numbers. They're acrostic numbers that I believe represent governmental perfection. So the number that comes out of these 12 is all a number that only God knows. It's a perfect number, and he uses the number 12, and the number 144,000 is 12 squared to bring attention to the 12 tribes, and that's what I believe, beloved. I believe these people are scattered all around the world in every country, and they're to be sealed with the truth at the time right before the end or the seventh trump. And I heard a number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000, all of the tribes of Israel. And so I'm going to give you all the All the different tribes are here, beloved. There's no need to go through them. And then after verse 8, we come to verse 9. And now this switches gears here, beloved. It's speaking about the Gentile nations. And I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, all of the nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne, before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our Lord God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. Okay, beloved, you gotta... There's your answer right there. There's way more than 144,000. You can't number them. And this includes the Gentiles and the tribes of Israel. Okay, so there's your answer right there. They can't be, there's so many of them, you can't number them. And the 144,000 being spoken of, beloved, is only the people that are being sealed at that time. It has nothing to do with them being saved. They are being sealed with knowledge so they can spread that truth to others right before the very end. When you're delivered up and you stand before the magistrates of Antichrist, they will wake up at that time. And this is right at the very end, beloved. The tribes of Israel and the Gentiles will both be sealed with untold numbers. And there's a difference between sealing and saving, and that's where the controversy comes in, beloved. The 144,000 are being sealed. That has nothing to do with them being saved. They're being sealed. Chances are they're already saved. You see how that works, beloved? You got to think this all the way through. The sealing is a sealing of knowledge into the brain. It is an understanding at the deepest level. Verse 9 is speaking of all who will be saved at that time. The text says, and after this, after the sealing. Okay, beloved, you see the chronology there? All right, so as you can see, the total number of souls is far beyond 144,000. As the Bible describes it, it's a great multitude. It's right there in the text, beloved. All you got to do is read it. Tells you, gives you your answer right there. You can't count them all. Being sealed with knowledge and being saved are two different things. The 144,000 are instrumental in spreading the truth throughout the world at the time of the end. And as a result, many souls will be saved. And this is a last minute thing. This is like the parable of the workers in the field. The guy that comes in at 7 a.m. gets the same reward as the guy who comes in at 5 p.m. All right, now let's go over Revelation 14:1. And I looked, and behold, the Lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000 having the seal of his Father's names written in their forehead. In other words, they had studied the Bible and they knew God's word, and they were prepared for the very end. They had their wedding garments ready for their bridegroom, and they were all in good standing. They were ready for the second coming. All right, let's go to Revelation 14:3. And they sung as it were a new song, and we all know it's the song of Moses, before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. We don't know how many of these people are the 144,000 that have this song exclusively written in their mind. We're not sure exactly who they are, but these are just mentioned as the 144,000. And these are they which these are they which were not defiled with women. And beloved, there's their translation conundrum here. Woman, most of the time, should be rendered defiled with her. You know how we call a car a her or a she, or we call many inanimate objects a her or a she, okay? Even a beast. All right, now I believe this is the way this is used, and not defiled with the great false church or the great whore that sits upon the waters in 17 and 18 of Revelation. For they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb, ever he goes. And these were redeemed from among men before and being the first fruits unto God and the Lamb. I believe the number 144,000 refers to a numerical perfection, or a number that is perfect in God's eyes. The 144,000 in chapter 7 are different than in chapter 14. They're from a different time period. And beloved, I'm not exactly 100% sure of this number here, 144,000, because it's used several times here in different contexts. And then just remember the number 144,000 doesn't represent the total numbers of soul in heaven. It represents the total number of the tribes of Israel to be sealed with knowledge right before the seventh trump can be sounded. And that's a summation of chapter 7, beloved. Now I want to give some info on the two witnesses. And this is very important, beloved, because the whole month of March, we should all, as God's elect and saved people, should all be looking for the two witnesses to make their appearances in the month of March. It's written, beloved. It's there. You have to dig. You have to know a little, the totality of scriptures to come up with this number, but it's not that difficult. All right, 11:2, Revelation. But the court which is without and the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and to the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months, and this is 1280 approximately. And Satan's prophecies are always given in months, so this is a prophecy that regards Satan. So there you have the days, 1280, and I'm going to show you the difference between the Antichrist being on earth and the two witnesses, okay? Now the very next verse, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days. Now notice how that's given in days. That is for God's children. And these are God's prophets. And so you got the number 1260 there. And beloved, keep in mind that all this can be shortened. So we have to keep an approximate amount of days and just keep our awareness up during this time period. We're not given the day or the hour. We're just not. Okay, but we are given the season. And the Antichrist appears roughly 3 weeks. There you have your difference. Around 20 days after the two witnesses appear. And look for the two witnesses the whole month of March, beloved. And so we got the time of the end, the order of the end, the chronological order, okay? And this is not rocket science, beloved. First, we want to look for the two witnesses to show up somewhere. And I believe they'll be highly visible, beloved, but only the elect will know who they are. The two witnesses first, the Antichrist second, and then Jesus Christ third in the sequence of events. And beloved, this number right here, 1,278.38 days, is 42 months. And it shows you how messed up the moon is when you try to count prophecies or try to run any type of numbers and do it with months. It does not work. They're always uneven. That's why you get these 1,278.38 days. It's not like the solar clock. The solar clock is just purely solar, and it doesn't change. And this is what gets me, beloved. The modern church uses the Gregorian calendar and for all the feast days of Christianity, and you get everything wrong. Every last holiday, they've got it wrong. Modern Christianity is just so far out in left field right now. It boggles my mind. You'll never hear this teaching anywhere else. You won't hear one church talking about this. And I can assure you, beloved, this is true, and this is the way things are going to unfold. Okay, well, that's it for this one, beloved, and much love from me to you, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep your eyes peeled, beloved.